allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the minutes show that Jensen and DeGidio have an excused absence. Verification of notice.
The meeting was properly noticed.
Any public comment on an item not on the agenda? I think that's you, John.
Speak English.
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
That's for the local TV audience.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me tonight. I'm Representative Don Verwink, and I've been representing the 43rd Assembly District for 6 years, but redistricting has now brought me into Jefferson County, and I am representing 3 townships in Rock County and the city of Milton, and a little part of the city of Janesville, and the rest of it is in Rock County, or in Jefferson County now. And so I wanted to introduce myself to let you know that in my 6 years, I've been on the Rural Development Committee, I've been on Tourism, I've been on Agriculture, and I've been on Education Committee. So for the last 6 years, there's where my priorities have been. And so in my old 43rd district, or my current 43rd district, I've done a farm tour every year to highlight agriculture. Every year that I've ran, I've gotten the Dairy Business Association's endorsement, the Farm Bureau's endorsement, because of my roots to agriculture. I go all over the state. I went on the water tours across the state to highlight the PFAS problem we have and some of the other problems. I've also, I believe we need to change our school funding formulas. Let me back up. I was a teacher in Milton for 32 years full-time, 37 altogether. I've been in the classroom for 44 years. I think you guys belong to the Cambridge School District. Well, Bernie Nicolai was my superintendent for a while when I was at Milton. So if you want to ask Bernie about me, we were good friends. We knew each other the whole time he was at the Milton until he came back here to Cambridge, and I just think he recently retired here as your superintendent. So he knows me very well. So I have a passion for education. The fact that I spent 44 years in the classroom, I think our school funding formula is broke. I've tried to get my colleagues to look at it. When 2/3 of our school districts are losing population, we need to do something other than just try to pass referendums to try to fund them. And nobody has the will to want to take that on. I do think we're going to start seeing that since we're having a shortage of teachers. We have 4,000 on special licenses. And so it's an issue, it's a priority for me, so we can keep teachers in our small school districts like Cambridge, because I believe these districts this size are good sized districts for kids to do well in, and I don't want them to be short of funds if they're losing enrollment. I'm also working with Edgerton Fire Chief, is that we are creating 11 municipality fire district. From 5, we're going to 11 because of the shortage of personnel, the EMS people, and getting firefighters. And we're trying to do a regional approach. And so I've had the Department of Revenue, I've had the DOT out into my old district, which includes some of my new district, and we're working on creating this new fire district so that we can put fire stations so that we can have response time 6 to 7 minutes response time. So we're not going to build large new stations. Milton needs a new station. Milton Township needs a new station. Edgerton needs a new station. And so we're going to place them strategically in this new fire district so we can get response times and have at least 3 firefighters in every station that can respond within 6 to 7 minutes, and then bring crews from other stations to get there so that they can complete what they need. And so we're finding out that it'd be a best approach. But in doing this, we're finding out the state statutes need to be changed. And from my understanding, in talking to public safety officials, in 2014 it was recommended we change the state statutes because all over the state we have fire districts that can't find personnel to work. I know in Grant County, they only have one ambulance in the whole county the whole night. And in some of our northwest counties, they had to actually have ambulances come from Minnesota to pick up people in Wisconsin because they didn't have a response time in the first half hour. So it's an issue that I'm pretty passionate about. I had a bill written with Representative Brooks from over near the Milwaukee area that the speaker did not let come to the floor that would have helped to change these statutes, that would have encouraged people to merge their fire districts and have some financial incentive to do it, which is what we need to do in order to keep our volunteer fire status going here. And so, and the other issue that I'm spending a lot of time with is for communities like Cambridge and all of our other small towns like the city of Milton, rural capital, investment capital is very hard to get in the state of Wisconsin. And so there are 3 bills that I've been working with people who are concerned about our local, our rural communities that we would like to get passed next session. That's why I'm hoping I can get reelected so that I can be an author of those bills. I've just attended a seminar in Beloit a week ago about our need for rural capital. It's 50% less than what it was 30 years ago. And so we're not incentivizing people to build businesses in our small towns to keep them vibrant. And so that's some of my priorities, and that's who I am. So I'll entertain any questions that you have.
I would just comment, as you're talking about that, one of the things when you talk about redoing education formulas, doing all this, understand that the towns are greatly restricted in what we can get and the levies that we have, and we continue to be asked to do more with less, and that cannot continue. And the Assembly seems kind of deaf to that whole issue.
Well, I understand that, and one of the bills that I have co-authored with one of my Republican colleagues is to exempt EMS and fire from the levy limits, and that because that's one of the problems that we have existing. But we can't get, the Speaker of the Assembly has control of what bills come to the floor, and until we can get that to change, we can't change that. But that's certainly something that needs to be addressed. When we had the study group, that's what the study group said, but it goes on deaf ears.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you for having
thank you.
me tonight.
Thank you, Don. Okay, next item, approval of minutes from the May 17th, 2022 Town Board meeting.
I would move approval as issued,
As written.
as written, I'm sorry, thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes from the May 17th Town Board meeting as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Now, approve the minutes from the special June 7th meeting.
I'll move to approve the June 7th special town board meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes from the June 7th special town board meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Police chief's report, I got a call from Jerry this afternoon. Couple items he's working on. He's going to a town board meeting in the town of Koshkanon. I believe he said this second or third Wednesday of July. They want to talk to him about combining the courts or using our court system for their tickets that they write down there. And the other thing is talk about our police force enforcing their ordinances. So that's one thing he's got going. He's got the boat launch, or excuse me, the boat is out on the lake, and he's meeting next week with Rumpf regarding the July festival they're having at the park. So.
Did he say anything about break-ins at Shore Place?
Say again?
Shore Place, break-ins at Shore Place?
He
Someone
didn't say anything to me about it.
Okay.
Residents?
Yeah. I just heard that through the grapevine. I don't know. I didn't,
I visited this
That's-
weekend with a couple Short Place residents.
okay.
Nobody said anything to me, and Jerry didn't say anything.
Okay, good.
Okay, did Jeff have anything that he talked to you about?
He did not.
We got the ad in the paper for Blue Jay Way, correct?
Correct.
I think beyond that, he's just busy with mowing and
Both Dave and Jeff are on vacation this week.
this week, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, clerk treasurer's report.
We are working on the absentee ballot process for the August 9th partisan primary. We are also using this time to get caught up on all of our little projects so that when it's time to do budget, that will have our full attention, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to bring item 10 up for consideration at this juncture.
okay, yeah, any objection to that?
No,
No, I was just looking for the paperwork in here.
It's down here.
Right here.
Oh, okay, Jeremy, that's you. Want to tell us what you're up to?
Trying to get the conditional use permit to add on the golf simulators, a 30 by 70 addition to the lanes, and also get it to where it's supposed to be, I guess. When it was built, it was supposed to have a conditional use.
Evidently, the zoning wasn't right on the
They-
property.
Jefferson County said they're cleaning up their paperwork now,
Yeah.
so.
Well, it's the time they do it is when somebody applies for something like
Yeah.
this, so. Planning committee?
Plan committee looked at it, thought it made sense, and all of us said our golf game could use help. So we would recommend board approval. So I would move board approval of the conditional use permit for recreational facility.
I'd entertain a motion.
I so move.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the conditional use permit to add an amusement recreation facility indoor golf to the existing bowling alley at N9534 US Highway 12. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
This is going to the county.
Yes.
Yes, it'll go, I'll scan it and email,
Get it tomorrow.
get it tomorrow.
Do you know if you're on the county?
I'm not sure, they,
Because you'll have to
I
peer.
think I am.
You'll have to
for-
peer over there,
Yeah.
too. So,
They said I couldn't do anything until like July 26th was the soonest.
okay, so that would be the next county meeting.
Yeah,
So, okay. So we'll have it over there tomorrow.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy. Okay, then, should have brought a bottle of water.
Oh,
Be
you
alone.
want me to get you one?
If you got one. Next item is discussion and possible action to grant renewal mobile home licenses to Impact Communities doing business as WICA Ripview MHE at W9194 Ripley Road. Asset Development Group LLC doing business as Oak Ridge Mobile Home Community in 3525 Treeloft Road. And Impact Communities doing business as Breezy Knoll Mobile Home Community, N4510 County Road A. I'd move to approve those mobile home licenses.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. One question I have,
Yes.
maybe somebody on the board can answer that. I can't. Ripview has always, has always had a storm center in the lower level of the big house where she lived. That since has been sold and is no longer available as a storm center. Is there a requirement for these communities to have that? I don't know. I don't think so. But I think probably it would be wise to think about doing something like that.
I agree.
Joy asked the same question the other day. And there is, to the best of my ability, no requirement for mobile home parks to provide that. And also, as I've gone through and we're trying to update the emergency management plan, we currently list no storm shelters.
No
within-
precedent for a storm shelter.
Right, in the town. And we're not sure about any of the schools, because we use the high school in a after a disaster relationship, but I'm not sure that they have anything. As I thought about, like, and they're not, truly what Geneva had there wasn't really a storm shelter. It was a facility that happened to be somewhat below grade, but still had a fair amount of windows across the front.
Oh, no, the storm shelter was
Was
under
that
the
in that
garage,
one end?
way in the far end.
Oh,
It
all
was
right.
all concrete, top,
Okay.
everything.
Then it did make it. So, don't know. It is, it is something that homeowners need to be aware of, and I really think that the people in the communities need to talk with their management. But I got to tell you that I could not find a single storm shelter company, and there are tons of them, that have a facility in Wisconsin. Home Depot says they sell some. I'm not sure, but they're relatively small. There are lots of alternatives for people if they are interested. And there is one company down in Illinois that sells concrete ones and does deliver to Wisconsin. But it's something, as we go through the revision of the emergency management plan, if we find some, but then the question is, will somebody be willing to let you do that? Will they open it? Is it adequate? And how quickly can they do that?
Well, I remember when Dwayne Severs built those 55 and older complexes. And it probably was the village that was requiring this, but he had to put one in. He had to have one for each of those 55 and older communities.
Yeah, see, in that case, he could do safe rooms also. There are a way to do safe rooms that he could just include in that. When you're in a mobile home park, that's not where you want to be when there's a storm. But there are alternatives for shelters. So,
Well, I brought it up because it came up when we had tornado warnings or severe weather warnings here.
Right.
Had started getting phone calls from Ripview Park. Now, Breezy Knolls never had one, and I've never gotten a call out of there. But
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if they had one.
no.
I know my father-in-law lived in that mobile home park on the way to Fort. And
Oak Ridge.
I mean, he passed away in 2005, but when he lived there, there's a farmhouse
Right.
that they were able to use to go to for storms.
Right, the lower level, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, move on. Next item is discussion and possible action regarding liquor license for the establishments in Oakland for the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Class A beer, Class B beer, Class A liquor, and Class B liquor for the Bait Shanty 2 and LR Pizza Inc., Lake Ripley Lanes. Class A beer, Class B beer, and Class B liquor for Sports Page Bar and Grill, Lake Ripley Country Club, and Oakland Center Tavern. Class B beer and Class B liquor for Jefferson Speedway, Herring's Lake Ripley Inn, and London Depot doing business as Mink Farm Tavern and Grill. And Class B beer for Oakland Conservation Club. I'll move to approve those liquor licenses.
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item, discussion and possible action regarding cigarette license for the time period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 for Lake Ripley Country Club at W9575 US Highway 12 and Mink Farm Tavern at W9624 US Highway 12. I'll move to approve those cigarette license.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item, discussion and possible action regarding operator's license for the time period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 for Herring's Lake Ripley Inn, Amy Bohr, Francis Coy, Hannah Dempsey, John Hinrich, Deborah Kulo, April Latch, Lisa Riddell, and Jean Schradel at Lake Ripley Country Club, Christopher Allen, Brian Bailey, Terry Beanfang, Steve Borkart, Sam Carrick, Eric Engelstead, Lee Furseth, Drew Jeffrey, Dane Jensen, David Jensen, Gracie Korth, Julie Mickelson, Samuel Mickelson, Ann Nottestead, Caitlin Robinson, J.C. Sewell, Nicole Thorson, Hannah Thorson, Deborah Wethel, Jonathan Zelmer, and Keegan Zabel. At J.T. Bateshanny 2, Cynthia Dudley, and William Zabel. At Jefferson Speedway, Taylor Ask, Cindra Brody, Jacqueline Eisner, Tara Fick, Jenny Henning, Jade Mitchell, Kelly Mitchell, William Robertson, and Terry Tucker. At Lake Ripley Lanes, Elton Chia, Callie Dahl, Leah Furseth, Jennifer Grasty, Alexis Humman, Kodiak Porter, Tobias Probst, Karen Robinson, Garrett Schradel, and Nicole Thorson. Mink Farm Tavern, Aaron Dorn, Susan Engels, Michelle Gottschalk, Callie Murphy, Jeremiah Probst, Roland Rather, Karen Robinson, and Joanne Zimmerman. Oakland Conservation Club, Thomas Erkey. Sports Page Bar and Grill, Susan Engels, Leah Furseth, Kelly Hetz, Bridget Johnson, and Jesse Johnson. I move we approve those bartenders' license.
Was there Oakland Center?
Oakland Center did not submit any operator
okay.
license.
It's just the two owners that
Yep.
operate there.
And there are, in your packet, there are
Right.
just the applications for the new operators. Everybody else is a renewal. There were two that, one had an underage drinking ticket from 2017 that was not disclosed on her operator's license. And there was another person that did not disclose that they had an open ticket for a DUI.
For DUI?
A DUI.
First-
And
A first offense?
How soon? How late? At what date?
the DUI was in January of 2022, and then there was an accident for causing injury on May of '22.
Are those closed, though?
They are not closed.
So
they-
they're not convicted yet?
They are not convicted, correct. He was just been charged.
Are they listed in this group I just read off?
Yes, they are.
All of them?
And can I say the names?
Yeah.
It is William Robertson and Tara Fick that, and it was, I'm just pointing them out because we found instances in CCAP that they did not disclose.
This is 2017,
Yeah,
and that was a underage?
underage drinking.
Okay.
And again, I'm just pointing them out because they were not disclosed on their application.
So what, have you ever been arrested? If it's a first offense, DUI, I mean, there may, for his offenses, there may not have been an arrest.
Right. We,
So he possibly did answer these correctly, and he's not been convicted yet.
Correct.
So,
so he did answer them correctly, because he wasn't convicted.
Okay.
and the other one was an underage drinking?
From 2017.
5 years ago.
Okay.
I erred on the side of
Right.
caution.
Right, right. No,
Yeah,
that's-
no,
I
it's
just
the
wanted
right-
to make you.
It's the right thing to do.
I just wanted to make you aware.
Correct, yes.
We've had instances such as this in the past, and if it's not a criminal offense, really, we can't turn them down for it. So my motion still stands.
Okay.
Do you need a second, or did you?
I need a second.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, next item is discussion and possible action on use of ARPA funds. It's regarding an action we took at the May 17th board meeting, where we had voted to transfer the ARPA funds that we had recognized earlier to our general fund. In further looking at that, if you recall, we gave all the businesses in the town 2 years' worth of liquor license money back. That's going to be hard to justify on the detailed reports that we have to give to the Internal Revenue Service. We already have spent the money out of our general fund. We now know, at the time we didn't, but we now know we can take road construction out of ARPA funds. So in further thinking about this, we maybe should just leave this alone. And if we come up short, we just spent $196,000 on roads. We can pull out money from the ARPA funds for the road work. And that would make a lot less work for Susan to try to justify to the IRS why we spent what we did.
Right. So just start fresh with the ARPA
Yeah.
funds?
Right. That's kind of what I was in favor of last.
I know you were arguing that,
Yeah.
and I, for one, was not seeing the argument because I knew we were going to be short in the general fund
Yeah.
before the year is out. But now that we know we can use ARPA
Yeah.
for road funds, that should not be a problem.
So I would, how do you want to do this? Do you want to,
Overturn that motion.
I would move to overturn the action taken at the May 17th meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Discussion and possible action on amended ordinance number 7. It's
Yes.
updating the standards for new streets and roadways in the town of Oakland.
We dealt with this, I don't know, 3 months ago, I think. And at the time we did, we missed one update. We created the situation where in cul-de-sacs, you could put a center island in a cul-de-sac. What we failed to do, which we had written into the subdivider agreement for Didion, but we need to put in the ordinance because it's possible that we could have someone come in, want to build a few streets and a few homes, and we wouldn't, it's not the size that we'd do a subdivider agreement, but we would still hold them to the standard. And what we needed to add in, which wasn't in this when we went around the first time, was if you develop If you put in a cul-de-sac and you choose to create a center island, it must be permeable and it must be maintained either by the developer or the homeowners association, not the town. And that,
Basically, what it is, Joy, is what we had approved for the developers agreement for the Didion development. We're putting that into an town ordinance so that any smaller one that does not require a developer's agreement, that they still abide by that same
The
rule
ordinance,
on this
right.
cul-de-sac.
yeah, rules are the same. And we just missed it when we did the first
So
pass of
which-
the ordinance.
Which section was changed then?
I think it's 4 or 5 on the, it's on the
E.
first page, E. On the
What?
first page.
E,
First
on the
page.
first page.
Oh, E, okay.
And
I
that,
see, I see.
that goes
Okay,
75-foot cul-de-sac. And then also they address the center island if they put one in.
Yeah. So I would move adoption of the amended ordinance number 7.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the amended ordinance number 7.
So
All
does
in
this
fa-
have to say amended ordinance?
We're just putting a new ordinance into place. It's exactly the same ordinance, except that language is put in there.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, next item is discussion of possible action on amended ordinance number 66, allowing and regulating the use of all-terrain vehicles, ATV and utility UTVs, and designated ATV, UTV routes in the town of Oakland. Basically what that is, if you remember, we approved ordinance 66 sometime back. Since it's been come to our attention that we have jurisdiction over highways and county roads with speed limits under 35 miles an hour as well. We've got 5 or 6 businesses on Highway 12 that could get access by UTVs and ATVs. There is a, I don't want to say a booklet coming out, but a map coming out for Jefferson County, and they would list those businesses on UTV routes.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's in our best interest to allow that. And basically, if you look at that on the second page, you got it outlined in yellow. That's the language that has to be in there, in that ordinance. So that's what was added.
Susan, is that citation correct? 23.3311 AM? Or should that be A period?
Let me, that's where I
We
got this.
copied the language off of Wisconsin Ag.
Yes, it is. It is AM.
Okay.
So do you have to say?
Good question, though.
Oh, well, that one. I was going to say, do you have to specifically say not to, that the speed limit would be 35 miles an hour, but it says 35.
Yeah, it already says 35, but
Yeah,
on highways with speed limits over 35, even 45, UTVs and ATVs are not allowed on there. But we have jurisdiction over ones that are under 35 mile an hour speed limit. If we didn't have any businesses in that area, I wouldn't worry about it, but it'd be nice to have those businesses on that UTV, ATV map.
so is that this taking care of that then?
It does.
This is
that-
35 miles,
Right. If at Sleepy Hollow, 12 becomes 35 miles an hour.
Right,
oh, it starts 35 there?
right.
Yeah.
So you got the bowling alley,
Okay.
sports center,
And all the way on into town then.
yeah.
Okay.
And the village has approved that as
The
well.
village, yeah, same thing. So
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it would cover somebody coming out to 18 Ooh. Well, kind of right at the river is where it changes from 45 to
Yeah.
35. So probably cover along 18 too. Pretty close.
Well, we don't have any businesses on 18 under 35.
No.
Basically, it's the
Not
Highway
right
12
now.
businesses.
Yeah.
If Giovanni's was there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
So,
I would move adoption of the amendment to ordinance 66.
I'll second it.
okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the amended ordinance number 66 along and regulating the use of all-terrain vehicles, ATVs and UTVs on designated ATV, UTV routes in the town of Oakland. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, next item, discussion and possible action on independent auditor's report for the year ended December 31st, 2021. Everybody got that at the last meeting?
Yes,
did they
they
not?
did, and, or they were in the
Yeah.
packet, so everybody did get a copy of the auditor's report.
Did anybody have a question on any of that? Especially the answers that I gave them.
I am working with Jeff from Johnson Block to do some of the journal entries that he
I
mentioned
think
in
the
there.
only thing I commented to you was that it didn't list the fact that we use a bookkeeping service for payroll and federal payments.
And he did make a note of that so that
Okay.
in future reports that would be mentioned.
Okay.
Okay, I'd make a motion to approve the independent auditor's report for the year ended December 31st, 2021.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item is discussion and possible action on the complaint of property located on W9460 US Highway 18. Have you heard anything from those folks?
I got an email today. I'll read it to you. He said, since the last Town of Oakland Board meeting in May, there's been work done on the outside of the building, including debris pickup, lawn mowing, and trimming around our building. We have also been in contact with our insurance agent. In fact, the last contact was this past Friday, June 17th, 22, to discuss the removals of damaged trees and the other work that needs to be done with our property and building. In other words, we are moving forward with the process, but we are told that the process will still take some time. In the meantime, please feel free to share this information at the June meeting, and hopefully it will provide some answers. If you need more information, please let me know, and we will contact our insurance agent to have him provide you with whatever information he has available.
Whippy-doo.
I'd make a suggestion, they fire that insurance agent,
Yeah.
whoever that is.
This is ridiculous. I
It
had
is.
an insurance settlement in 2 weeks on my property after the March 5th. And they have done nothing. I'm sorry, if they've cleaned up any downed trees, I'm hard pressed to tell you which ones they are.
They mowed the
And-
lawn, they mowed the grass on Highway 12. As far as I can see, that's all they've done there.
Yeah, and you know, I think we need to say, the neighbors are outraged that this is continuing along whatever, I forget the name of the road right there.
Woodcrest.
Woodcrest.
Yeah.
And this is not being a good neighbor to your neighbors.
So that truck I saw there didn't do anything then? At the last meeting,
Yeah,
remember
you
I had
said, and I can't see where they've taken any limbs out, or, I mean, even, you don't have to wait for the insurance company to remove something that's sitting on the ground, okay? You know, or at least move it more back into your property, away from, you know, I'm sorry, I just am not convinced they're trying hard. And I think we need to express that to them, that this is not the best effort, and that they're not being thoughtful of their neighbors, and we expect much more.
Well, should we request something from the insurance agent?
I guess I would, in that, I would say, have the insurance company send us a review of what they've done and what they're in the process of doing.
Right.
Because I don't want to accuse a preacher of lying, but it sounds to me like they don't have insurance, or whoever it is.
I'm not sure that, who signed the letter? Who's the email from?
It is from a K. McKenney Sr. His, and when you go to the property listing on Jefferson County, he is listed as the owner of the property.
Okay. You're assuming it's a he?
I am assuming, you are correct. I am assuming it is a he.
Because there was a McKenney who was the pastor there who has since been deceased.
Right.
So,
Okay, you want to send them a letter? Tell
Sure.
them we'd like that by the July meeting. We'll probably be dealing with this next July yet as well. I don't know for sure. Okay, next item, discussion and possible action on audio improvements for the town hall. Ted and I made a trip last week up to Full Compass up in west side of Madison. Ted, I'll let you review what he came up with.
and it was in your packet, and what Gene and I talked about with them was how do we equip this room with a microphone and speaker system that will allow for meetings and for people to hear us, and was our primary focus. And kind of secondarily, if we can connect into Gary's equipment, that would be a good situation. We also talked in generalities to them about future needs, maybe connecting a TV in the future for training sessions that can go on, and way down the road, Zoom kind of things. This, what he has proposed, is designed to meet our immediate need, and he believes that he can have this system for us easily by September 1st. We had kind of said we wanted to go wireless, and he said, well, how many years are you willing to wait for that? That kind of equipment is back ordered significantly. This basically takes a situation where every table will have a microphone. I have pictures of it if anybody's interested. So we would have three kind of this way, then we would have a fourth one that could either do that or be in a mic stand. The equipment would be mounted in a container mounted to the wall. And there's room in there for us to put the equipment away.
And lock it up.
And lock it up. We would be inconvenienced in that we'd have to run some wires. Speakers would be mounted up on the wall. That we can do pretty much with going up and going around the ceiling. We're going to have to talk about how we want to get the cables to our respective tables, but we can do that. We had, if you remember correctly, we had a bid from Computers Nationwide for this whole thing, and it was like $15,000. And it didn't really address this. Susan got a bid from another company just to do the interface to Gary's system would be $4,600. We think that at this juncture with basically $5,100, we're in a lot better shape. We
think we can probably hook up the Gary's system off of this.
And this assumes that we can do the installation, and they've indicated to us that we probably can. Gene and I have both done some of this, so we think this maybe is the best solution for us, and something that we can get and have in place before we have to have another electors meeting.
So we have to have a wire coming to the table?
You have to have a wire coming to the microphone.
Like that.
Okay, but it'll be coming from there, and we can use cable runs so that you can walk over them, so that you would not trip. But we also could go up and around. We could go under. There are some ways that we could try to figure it out. But yeah, the negative is, yes, we have to do a wired system, and there's no way around having wires. But with the cable runs, we can minimize any tripping or catching of those. So I would move that we approve this, and I don't know, do we have purchase orders, Susan, that we can issue, or? Okay.
Sure.
So they would like a purchase order from us for this. So I would move that we approve the bid from Full Compass Systems in the amount of $50,090.76.
5,009.
What did I say, 50?
Yeah.
Just wanted a little extra. No, 5,090.76. Sorry.
I'll second it. It's better than what we have now.
Yes.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to order the audio improvements for the town hall from Full Compass Systems.
Do you want to specify that this is out of ARPA funds, or?
We don't have to specify that.
Okay.
In the amount of $5,090.76. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Who seconded the motion? Joy?
Joy.
Yeah.
Such a big group.
I know, how could I get lost?
Next item is discussion and possible action on publishing a town newsletter. Personally, I think we probably have a big enough load in the office right now to take on something like this. Not saying that down the road it might not be a bad idea.
I'd like to put some cost to it and see what it would actually cost. I'm particularly, and that's why I asked John about the text, the schedule for the reval, because that's where I'm really wanting to. It's not so much that I'm big on doing a periodic, regular newsletter. I'm just kind of big on trying to get information out to people relative to the reval, and then if we cover and we have room for other issues. Sheila gave me some costs of what went on with the fire commission stuff, and I'd like to kick that around and talk about it. And I agree with you that we would need someone who would, like you had with Sheila offline, not as part of the commission, if we could work with someone who either is a volunteer or something, that we could do that, because I would agree with you that staff is sufficiently busy, as are most of the rest of us. So, and that's one of the other issues. I didn't know whether Sheila had somebody do this work that they paid, or how they came up with the cards along the way, how they got created. Patty, do you know?
Sheila designed the card.
Okay.
And then got approved by the commission and the fire department, et cetera. Then she checked on different sources to print it, and Leader Printing knows how to do that door-to-door mail, where we just pick the routes, and Leader is the best way to go. That's what we do with the historic school one and with the foundation one that we did. We went to Leader.
Okay.
They know exactly how to do it.
Okay. So I'd like to get a little more cost before we make a final kind of decision.
Can you put costs together and come up with a number on what it would run?
I ran out of time this week
Yeah.
to do that. So before we make a final determination.
So this
I'd like-
won't be a permanent newsletter?
No, I'm
It's
thinking
just
something
for
like
the-
6 mailings during this period that we're going to be doing the reval, so that
Yeah.
we attempt to inform people. And that there is the flexibility to go a full sheet of paper, but it would be a little bit more than what the cards were. And so we really need to kind of sit down and talk about what's important information, what's going to dovetail with what John does, but I figured to say that maybe, you know, there would be four of the giant cards and maybe 2 one-page things. Something like that, where we spend more time.
I think it's just an informational piece. Basically, you're after to explain the reval that's taking place, so we don't have a repeat of 2010.
Yeah.
When you had a whole bunch of people with bad information
Yeah.
and spreading that around.
Right. I
I-
don't remember getting anything back then, really. I don't know if we did get anything. If we did, I
No,
did.
we didn't try to do anything to educate the public,
Right.
and other than the paper, you know, but then got to read too, so.
Yeah. And we've already got a good start on letting the public know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think we need to, and if we can dovetail with the information that John's going to be putting in his letters, I think it's worth, you know, this is one of those, you know, and I think this would be acceptable under ARPA funds. It's worth trying to do this because otherwise we know it's going to be painful. Maybe we can't avoid that. I just would like to try to do that.
So you
it's
think
worth it.
this would be able to come from ARPA?
I think so, because it's a communication to your residents.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
You know, so we have to look at it more seriously. I mean, all of these things we need to make sure Susan it fits the category, and Susan feels comfortable that yes, that's something we can.
Right.
Because it was hard to prove the need for the liquor licenses. Yeah. So.
Okay, should we put this on next month's agenda?
If you would, please.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion to go into closed